You noticed it before you could name it. It was the family dinner where a question was asked about you and answered by someone else while you sat right there. It was your daughter's new tone on the phone, that slightly slower, slightly brighter voice, the one people use with children. It was the moment you reached for the check, or the ladder, or the car keys, and a hand appeared. "I've got it, Dad." Trivial things. Each one easy to shrug off. But they kept coming, didn't they? And one day you realized the truth you could not siloid. Your own family treats you differently now. Not badly. Not cruelly. Just differently. Like you have been quietly moved to a different chair at the table of your own life. Today, I am going to tell you the 5 real reasons this happens, and I warn you, some of them are painful to hear. But I promise you 2 things. First, it is never what you think it is. And second, once you understand reason number 4, the hurt starts to loosen its grip, because number 4 changes the whole picture. Let us get to the truth. The first reason is the simplest, and it has nothing to do with anything you did. Somewhere around 65, in the eyes of the people around you, your age walks into the room before you do. You stop being Dad, who happens to be 68, and start being 68, who happens to be Dad. The number becomes a lens, and suddenly everything you do gets viewed through it. You forget a name, like you have your entire life, like every human being does, and now there is a glance between your kids. You decide to repaint the fence yourself, and it is not Dad's painting the fence, it is, should he be on his knees like that at his age? The same behaviors, the exact same man, but the lens has changed, so the picture changed. A man named Eugene, 69, from Iowa, told a story about this. All his life he had been famous in the family for his naps. Sunday afternoon, ball game on, out cold in the recliner by the 3rd inning, 40 years running, a family joke. Then, sometime after his 68th birthday, he woke from his usual nap to find his daughter watching him with worried eyes. "You've been sleeping a lot lately, Dad. Are you feeling okay?" The same nap. 40 years, the same nap. But now the nap had a shadow over it. Here is what you need to understand about this lens. You cannot argue it away. Getting angry, "Stop treating me like I'm old," runically gets filed by the lens too. What works instead is quieter, and it works over months, not minutes. Let them keep seeing evidence of the man. Stay sharp in conversation. Ask about their lives and remember the details, because nothing dissolves the old age lens faster than a man who remembers everything you told him 2 weeks ago. Keep your walk brisk when they visit. Have a project going on, a real one you can point out. You are not performing youth. You are just refusing to let the number do all the talking. The lens softens when the evidence keeps contradicting it. But the lens is only on the surface. The second reason goes deeper, because the second reason is an instinct older than any of us. Here is the second reason, and it is built into human nature itself. Children are wired to eventually parent their parents. And around your mid-60s, that wiring switches on, whether it is needed or not. Notice that last part because it is the whole point, whether it is needed or not. This is not a response to your actual condition. Your son does not start managing you because you declined. He starts because he crossed some invisible line in his own mind where taking care of Dad became part of his identity. He watched a friend lose a father. He just turned 45 and felt time was moving. Either way, the instinct wakes up, looks around, and starts finding things to manage. So, the questions begin. Have you been to the doctor? Are you eating right? You should not be driving at night. Let me manage the insurance call. Dad, those people are sharks. Each one delivered with love, and each one, brick by brick, building a wall between you and your own life. A man named Roy, 71, from Nebraska, watched this happen at his kitchen table. His son came to visit and, without asking, started going through Roy's mail, sorting it, making a pile of things we should look at together. Roy stood there in his own kitchen, watching his boy audit his life, and felt something he had never felt before in his own house: managed. Now, what Roy did next matters because he got it exactly right. He did not explode. He walked over, put one hand on the mail and one hand on his son's shoulder, and said, "I appreciate what's behind this, but I have been opening my own mail since Eisenhower. Sit down, I'll pour us coffee, and you can tell me about the kids." One sentence of warmth, one sentence of boundary, one redirection. That is the formula, and you will use it 100 times. Appreciate love, decline the management, redirect to the relationship. Because here is the key: the instinct behind their behavior is love wearing the wrong clothes. You do not fight love. You just keep handing it back the right clothes to wear. And do it early. Every small management you accept for convenience, fine, you call the insurance company, teaches the instinct that it has needed. Accept help you truly need, always, without shame. But never rent out territory you can still govern because that lease is impossible to break. The third reason is it is harder to swallow. Because the third reason involves something you lost, and nobody held a funeral for it. Let us take a short pause. If the first two reasons have already put faces and moments in your mind, the mail sorting, the worried glances, hold those thoughts because we are about to go one level deeper. This third reason is the one man feel most and understand least. For 50 years, you were useful to your family in ways so constantly they became invisible. You were the provider, or the fixer, or the advisor, or the driver, or all of it at once. The family did not just love you, the family ran on you. Your usefulness was woven into every relationship. Your son called about the strange noise in his car. Your daughter called about the mortgage question. Your wife's cousin needed the deck fixed. You were a load-bearing wall in a dozen lives. Then, gradually, the calls changed. The car is going to a dealership now. The mortgage question goes to an app. The deck gets done by a crew your son-in-law hired. Nobody was cruel about it. The world just quietly rerouted around you, the way traffic reroutes around an old road. And one day you realized the phone had gotten incredibly quiet, and the visits had gotten very social, pleasant, purposeless. And here is the painful part no one sesamoid. When your usefulness went, some of your gravity went with it. Family members orbit what they need. It is not villainy, it is physics. A man named Wallace, 73, from Pennsylvania, hit this wall hard. Master electrician, 40 years. The families go to man for everything with a wire in it. When his hands got too unsteady for panel work, he expected, well, he did not know what he expected. What he got was silence. Until the day his grandson, 16, mentioned offhand that he wanted to understand how houses work, because nobody knows how to fix anything anymore. Wallace did not fix a single thing that summer. He taught. Saturday mornings, garage, coffee, and diagrams. The boy learned wiring. Wallace learned the truth every wise man eventually finds. Your usefulness does not die after 65, it changes form. The hands are retired. The head and the heart do not. You have 50 years of judgment, stories, skills, and hard-won sense. The families that seem to rediscover their old men are always the ones where the old man found the new form of his usefulness. Teacher, historian, advisor when asked, the calm voice in a family crisis. Stop offering the old currency and mint the new one. But now we have come to season 4. The one I promised would change the picture. Take a breath for this one. Here is the reason underneath all the other reasons. The one your family does not understand about themselves and would never say if they did. Somewhere after your 65th birthday, the people who love you most begin quietly, unconsciously, to grieve you in advance. Stay with me because this is not as dark as it sounds. In fact, it is the key that unlocks everything. Think about what changed in their minds around that time. For your children's whole lives, you were permanent. A fact of the world, like the sun. Children, even 50-year-old children, do not honestly believe their father can end. And then one day, something cracks that belief. A friend of theirs loses a parent. You have a health scare, even a small one. Or they simply do the math one quiet evening. And from that moment, a clock appears in the corner of their vision whenever they look at you. They cannot see it. Now, here is the thing about people who can see a clock. They get strange. Grief that arrives early does not look like grief. It wears disguises. Sometimes it looks like overprotection, because if they can control every risk, they can stop the clock. That is the daughter who panics about driving. Sometimes it looks like distance, because some hearts, when they fear a loss, start backing away from it early, taking the pain in installments. That is the son who calls less, not more. And sometimes it looks like irritation, snapping at you over trivial things, because being angry at you is easier than being terrified of you. Overprotection, distance, irritation. You have seen all three, haven't you? And you read them as disrespect, or as not caring. Now read them again. Every single one is fear of losing you, wearing a costume. A man named Dean, 75, from Ohio, could not understand why his son Mark had gone cold. Visits shorter, calls rarer, conversations all surface. It took Christmas Eve and 2 glasses of whiskey for the truth to fall out. Mark, 50, a grown man with gray in his own beard, said quietly, "Every time I leave here, Dad, I sit in the car for a minute before I drive off. Because I never know how many more of these I get." He was not distant because he cared less. He was distant because he cared more than he could carry. Dean told me, the way I heard it, that in that moment, 20 small hurts from the past 5 years all changed their meaning at once. Same memories, new light. So, what does a wise man do with this knowledge? 2 things. First, stop keeping score of behaviors that are really fear in disguise. Forgive me faster. You are not excusing rudeness, you are just reading it correctly now. Second, and this is the powerful one, talk about the clock so they do not have to carry it alone. Not morbidly, openly. I'm planning to be around for a good long while, and I intend to enjoy every year of it, so let's stop treating visits like they're fragile. A father who is calm and unafraid about time gives his children permission to be calm too. You have led this family through everything else. Led them through this too. And that brings us to the 5th reason, the one that is hardest to admit, because this one lives on your side of the table. The 5th reason your family treats you differently is the one that takes real honesty to accept. You are not the same man either. Be truthful with yourself now because you have earned the right to manage truth. Are you quieter than you were at 50? Do you leave gatherings earlier? Are your opinions firmer, your patience for nonsense shorter, your interest in small talk thinner? Have you gone deeper into your own thoughts, your own routines, your own company? None of that is wrong. Most of it is wisdom, honestly, the natural distillation of a man. But here is what you have to see. Your family is dealing with the latest version of you, and nobody handed them the manual. When you go quiet at the dinner table, content, just listening, enjoying the noise of your grandchildren, they do not see contentment. They see withdrawal and they worry or they pull back. When you decline the big loud birthday party because you would genuinely rather have lunch with 2 people than cake with 30, to notions hear preference. They hear decline. You changed the signals, but you never told anyone the new code. So, they are misreading you daily, and then treating you according to their misreadings, and then you're hurt by treatment that started with your own unexplained silence. Round it goes. A man named Marvin, 70, from Oregon, broke this cycle with one dinner table sentence, and I would offer it to every man listening. His family had been walking on eggshells around his new quietness for a year, whispering, worrying, planning around him. Finally, one Sunday, he tapped his glass and said, smiling, "I want you all to know something. When I am quiet, I am not sad, I am more satisfied. This is what a happy old man looks like. Adjust your instruments." They laughed. And then, they adjusted. The whispering stopped. Because he had finally handed them the new code. So, tell them who you are now. Say the quiet parts aloud, once, plainly, "I leave early because my best hours are mornings now. It's not the company. I'd rather teach the boy chess than go to the mall. That's not withdrawal, that's preference." One sentence of translation saves 100 misunderstandings. They cannot honor a man they cannot read. So, there are the 5 real reasons. The lens that sees your number first. The parenting instinct that wakes up in your children. The useful economy that rerouted around you. The early grief that wears disguises. And the new you that nobody has been introduced to yet. Now step back and look at the whole picture, because here is what I want you to do. Not one of these 5 is about disrespect. No one is about your family loving you less. Every single one is some mixture of instinct, fear, and love, badly translated. Your family is not turning away from you. They are fumbling in the dark around you, working off old maps and unspoken fears, doing it all wrong and doing it all for reasons that would break your heart if they said theme aloud. And you have something no one else at that table has: 50 more years of understanding people. Which means the job of fixing this, fairly or not, falls to the one most equipped for it. Read the fear behind the fussing. Hand the love back its right clothes. Mint your new currency. Talk about the clock without flinching. And introduce them, plainly and warmly, to the man you have become. They gave you their whole childhood. Give them the map of your old age. You have earned your peace. Now help the people you love learn how to stand inside it with you. If this spoke to you, subscribe, because in an upcoming video, I am covering the 3 questions you should never answer, no matter who is asking, even family. That one protects everything we talked about today. Take care of yourself. I will see you in the next one.